Hey, we back, man. Just because I have the Flyers hat on does not mean that I abandoned the Eagles, but I'm gonna tell you what, the Eagles have a lot of things to clean up after that game, losing to the Chargers in that overtime game, 22-19. What did you think about that game, man? Let's just hop straight into this.
Um, just honestly, like it was just a hot mess, man. Like it seems like this has been the trend every week, but this is the game where I could honestly blame a lot on Jalen, but then it's like the defense put the few good takes of this game is you can honestly say they got the run game going. The defense played, didn't they have like 7 sacks this game, I think?
Yep,
Um,
yep,
yeah,
yep.
they had a really good game. So the defense balled out, but same stuff with KP's being predictable. No change made with there, but and Jalen Hurts, I can honestly say he's very bad this game. Can't turn the ball over 5 times and expect to win football games, you know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
I mean, one thing I will say though is when you have below league average of 2.5 yards of separation from your receivers, that's pretty much where we're at right now. That's below the league average. The league average is 3.5 yards of separation is the league average as far as separation go of receivers. What a lot of teams are more than that, obviously, but that's the league average.
Right, right.
And I think that, you know, obviously Jalen was bad, but a part of it I think is also due to the scheme and the lack of separation due to the predictability is another reason why he was that bad too. And the Chargers defense, his pass defense, I think is ranked third in the league. So it just gotta flush this down the toilet, man. This is a really tough loss. I mean, I sat there for a good 10 minutes just thinking to myself, right? Because like we were driving down the field, right, towards the end of that game and in overtime and just throws that pick and you're just like that took it a lot out of me mentally, bro. Like tough to watch.
Mm. I hear you, man. Obviously that last pick, that was one that you can't have. That had nothing to do with Kevin Patullo.
No.
That
Yeah.
was trying to play, not play hero ball, but make something happen, and the defenders played their zones correctly. I mean, I looked like he was in a cloud flat, the one defender, and all he had to do was drop back. He didn't have to do anything special. They were just reading the eyes of the quarterback, like Troy Aikman was so eloquently pointing out at certain
Mm,
points in the game when they were jumping passes. And you look at Jalen today, didn't well in that game, did not play well. Had a horrible passer rating. It was probably like below 50. I can't remember. It might have been like 35 or something like that. And Justin Herbert didn't have a great game. I know he had the injured hand, but he was struggling before that because they have some of the same issues, even though we both had the same record. Both their tackles were out. They couldn't protect him, as evidenced by the 7 sacks and the countless other pressures that were happening even when he didn't get sacked. Um, how much of it is Jalen Hurts struggling in one or multiple areas? Same thing with the receivers. How much of the lack of separation is because they're not doing their job versus the scheme being so predictable that defenders are able to predict what you're going to do before you do it, so they're a half a step ahead of you. That's the part that I'm curious about, that I think that people are not putting enough weight on or just completely glossing over, period. Because
mm,
if I know, or if I feel like I know what you're going to do in the run game, well, guess what? I can, if I think you're going to run an outside zone to the left, I can already get my momentum going when the play starts, a la Perriman, their linebacker, to blow it up. I'm already running full speed at your guard or tackle because I'm predicting that you're running to a spot. What
yeah.
can the offensive lineman do about that, especially if it's compounded by them being compromised by injury?
Hmm.
Same thing with passing. If I feel as though I'm seeing the same formation or set of formations time and time again, and you like running the same type of routes and or route sequences consistently, well, I will guess wrong here and there, sure, but I'm going to guess right more often than I guess wrong. And it'll
Yeah.
seem like I have this sixth sense of knowing when you're going to make the break on your route, when really it's just because I think you're going to run a slant at 5 yards and that's what you do. So I'm already beating you to the spot. And then
Mm,
if I'm good, then it's now you're really not going to be able to do anything against me. But even if I'm not really that good, which the Chargers are, even if you weren't that good, you're still going to struggle against those teams.
mm,
Now, we play my Raiders next week, and I'm a Raiders fan only when we're not playing the Eagles. But even
mm.
though I'm going to obviously be rooting for the Eagles, it's not a give me game
No.
because although we are highly dysfunctional, one area where at times we've been semi decent is in our secondary for one reason or another. So, although they should smoke the Raiders at home or on the road, they may struggle because the Raiders are going to look at film and say, hey, we may not be able to match up man for man across the board with you, but if I know what move you're going to make on the chessboard before you make it, I don't even care if you have more pieces than me. I'm still going to make it a nightmare at worst and beat you at best.
Yeah, man, especially with that running back y'all got over there.
Yeah, I mean, what is Saquon going to do when you have Perriman bearing down through the A or the B gap? Because he's like, oh well, this is probably going to be that play, crash through that shit and hit you 2 yards in the backfield before you can even make a move. So it makes it very difficult to properly evaluate the players. That's really the long roundabout way I was getting to make that point. I can't really properly assess what Jalen Hurts is truly deficient at now or still from the past if something is popping up because the play calling is so bad, I can't separate the actual reason for it.
Yeah.
Same thing with Saquon, same thing with the line, same thing with the receivers. Um, we don't have that problem with defense because Vic Fangio is the polar opposite of what we're seeing with respect to play calling from a coordinator. He is unpredictable, which is why we stay in these games.
Yeah.
Um, That's the way I saw it. Because I'll put it, I'm gonna throw this out here, and this would be a hot take, and I'm not trying to absolve Jalen Hurts of his poor play, but people are going to be quick to discount Herbert's bad game because he had the broken left hand. But
Mm,
he he was struggling because I have Justin Herbert for fantasy football. So although I think he's a I think he's an elite quarterback,
mm.
he struggles at times. And last year I thought, okay, maybe he lost Keenan Allen. Quentin Johnston has not stepped up to fill the role that he was supposed to as a first round draft pick when they got him 2 years ago. And all they really have is some guys. They had number five, Josh Palmer. He was their starter for a minute. Like that's your starter. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So, and then last year, I believe they got Lad McConkey, which like gave them an outlet to not have to go to Josh Palmer. But even with that, it was like okay, maybe he's struggling to put up 300 yards every week because he only has Lad McConkey and some of the other guys ain't stepping up. They don't have a run game. Blah blah blah. This year
Right.
he has a lot of weapons. He has Keenan Allen, who's still playing at a semi-high level. He was the year before with his last destination. He has that McConkey in year two, who's phenomenal out the slot, and Cooper DeJean shut him the fuck down. Quentin Johnston, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. One week he looks like T.O., the next week he looks like he shouldn't even be playing in the NFL. Like it's very mind-boggling. But before those tackles got injured, I don't really know if Justin Herbert was clearly the best quarterback in the league. He was obviously still elite, but without that offensive line, why does he get the passes that Jalen Hurts does not with the media? We don't
Right.
talk outside of that one pass to Omarion Hampton or it might have been Vidal for 60 yards. What did he do
Mm.
that first quarter?
Um,
Did nothing.
yeah, nothing.
He had about 70 to 80 yards in that first quarter, and most of it came from that one dump off pass, which is not a hard pass to make.
No.
What about the pass that he missed? Jalen Hurts had a pass going out to his left in the red zone. On I think third
Mm.
down, everybody ran to the sticks, which is a retarded play call in that situation, in my opinion. to have
Yeah.
everybody go sticks. And then
Yeah.
in addition to that, you compound the problem of having a predictable and not ideal play call by rolling your right-handed quarterback out to his left.
Right.
And then you're surprised when best case scenario, he's able to throw it away. Worst case scenario, he tries to make a play and fortunately it wasn't a fumble.
Hmm.
You also had a play where Jalen Hurts rolled out to the left and tried to laser a ball. I forgot what receiver it was, and he missed it.
Hmm.
But Justin Herbert also had a play where he rolled out to the left on the run and had Lad McConkey open deeper in the secondary and threw it too low. Didn't put enough air on it.
Hmm.
I don't hear anybody on WIP talking about those misses by Justin Herbert, but they talk about how Herbert is head and shoulders better than Jalen Hurts and some of these other quarterbacks. And I think he's a great quarterback, but if Justin Herbert was the quarterback in Philly, would they be saying the same thing about him with the pedigree he had? Or would they actually call him out and say, no, you play like dog shit? Just like we call out Jalen Hurts, rightfully so, you play like dog shit.
Hmm.
That doesn't mean that that's the quarterback he is. I mean, he just won a
Yeah.
Super Bowl MVP, and he just showed that he can throw across the middle against a very, very good Chiefs defense that was so confident that he wouldn't be able to do so that they just keyed in on Saquon and said, "Hey, we'll pick our poison," and we don't think
Hmm.
that Jalen Hurts is poison, and they were wrong, as well as the
Right.
Commanders the week before when he shredded them
Right.
and put up the hands like this, where like the Michael Jordan like, is this what y'all wanted? Now that's not to say he's perfect, but it's like I see a lot of selective outrage because some of the same things that they criticize Jalen, they do not hold the Lamar Jacksons, the Pat Mahomes, the Justin Herberts of the world. When they do it,
Yeah.
they don't give them the same fire as they give
It's
Jalen.
not fair, man.
Yeah,
Like Pat Mahomes just threw 3 picks. I don't hear all about that. Like,
he's a super Ryan. He's a Super Bowl MVP. He's been there. He lost to
yeah.
Jalen Hurts actually. You know the quarterback he got outplayed twice in two Super Bowls. But there's no way we could criticize him because he's Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, it's just not, he's
That's
God
just
forbid, right?
yeah. I mean that's just a side remark. It's just to try to help people keep things in perspective. You can be hypercritical of a player while also being fair
Yeah.
because it's only human nature to want to bring out the pitchforks and the flames when somebody has a bad game when you already have it out for them already. Versus if you didn't have it out for this person, you give them a little more leeway. You get a longer leash.
Hmm. It's
Oh
not
yeah,
fair, man.
you got to show me next year. If you mess up next year, then you are who we say you are. But with Jalen, it's like, oh, you showed us you were a Super Bowl MVP last year, but you messed up a little bit this year. Get rid of him.
I mean, it's an outrage to me when I hear some people calling him just straight garbage. Like, I just think that's straight ignorance.
I mean, that's they know not what they say, and it's not to say that they're wrong about their criticism and saying that he played bad, but it's short memory in a bad way. How quickly we forget.
Hmm.
So, but that being said, Jalen Hurts, we have to see him really pick it up down the stretch. And my question to you is, there was a poll on WIP today asking whether Jalen Hurts should be benched if he has a bad first half in his game against the Raiders coming up on Sunday. What's your take on that question, and what is your take in terms of your answer?
Um, it's actually a very good question. I think it's a very bad move because I think it maybe destroys his confidence. Because then you're putting him on the bench, taking risk of like. See, here's the thing: if you bench him, are you like that's going to determine like, are you going to start him in the next game? But here's the thing: if you bench him, like, and Tanner McKee comes out there and rips that thing and just like leads that team to victory, and just say he puts an ass whooping to the Raiders, just opens it up.
Hmm.
Now you're creating a quarterback controversy because he's out there laying the wood or pretty much blowing out the Raiders when the Jalen just been super struggling. So, I mean, to me, I think it's a bad move. I think you see how that game plays out and then you determine in the following game. But it's like, I'm kind of in the middle, though, to be truthful, because it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. You know what I mean? Like, it's a very hard decision to make. But, truthfully, I mean, it wouldn't be a, I guess yeah. I mean, honestly, I think you should, but I think you should start him in the following game. Otherwise, you're gonna. It's just it's a tough decision on my end, man. It's just so hard to answer. But to my answer, I would have to say, yeah,
Yeah, I agree with you. And I look back at the Donovan situation in 2009 when they benched him uh and let Kevin Cobb play. We
yeah,
had just had a very we blew the Cardinals out on during Thanksgiving.
yeah.
During Thanksgiving, like blew them out. We put up like 40 plus points, blew them out. And then I can't remember if that came before or after his benching, but he got benched. And I don't remember if it was Kevin Cobb who was the backup that they brought in or not. I don't remember who the quarterback was, but Donovan had been playing very inconsistently that year.
Mm,
And you're talking about a trend going from 2005 where he got injured in 2006, so didn't even play the whole year. Jeff Garcia was playing, and a controversy started there because Donovan was out. And then 2007, um, I mean, it wasn't up to the standards that we had set by going to the NFC Championship game 4 years in a row earlier and then getting to a Super Bowl. And people started to whisper. They say, okay, he's throwing passes into the dirt. He looks inaccurate. He looks like he doesn't show up in the big moments. And a lot of people were ready to move on from him or at least bench him. And that
yeah,
happened at one point in I don't remember which year it was, but it happened at one point, and then he came back and he started balling out.
yeah.
Donovan, I think that it was justified. At that
Hmm.
time, I felt the same way. It was clear that he was struggling mightily, and it was not the play calling. Andy Reid was calling good script. He just was not. We were not able to execute. Um,
Hmm.
whether that was Dante Stallworth not being TO, or whether Deshaun Jackson was too young of a receiver, I don't know what the case would be with that, or whoever was receiver at the time. But I don't think Jalen Hurts is to that point. I just don't.
No.
Um, and again, I go back to the play calling. We can't. I don't think that. I think that he can play better. Yes, I think that the line can play better, and injuries are a huge part of that. But I think the main issue is the play calling. You can slice it any way you want.
Yeah.
You can say that the players have to play better, but if NFL former NFL players and commentators are pointing this out every week, like it's not a secret. It's
No.
like I don't. It's the fans not condoning it. They don't need to egg your house for you to know this. Everybody and their moms is telling you this.
Yeah.
So it's about until you clear out the confounding factors, we can't even start to assess where this team is at.
Yeah. And it's just it still boggles my mind. We are this far into this disaster keep happening and no change is being done. Like I thought by now, like after this game, I thought if they for sure lost this game, there was something going to be done. I'm telling you right now, I really feel like Nick Sirianni is going to cost himself some jobs. I'm really just at that point.
Probably, man. I'm at the point where I don't care no more. Like if he's going to be hard
Yeah,
headed, then that's probably going to be the inevitable end result for him. I don't even I as much as I've been critical of him, I really don't wish that on him. That's why
me,
I get so
yeah, yeah,
passionate talking about this because I'm like
yeah,
I'm not saying I have the answers on a paper right here, but I can definitely tell you that I got some answers. Just like a
yeah,
lot of people watching TV, there's some simple fixes you can make before you get to the tough questions you have to answer.
yeah, 100%. Because it's just like, yeah, I feel the same way, man. I don't wish that on him either. But it's like if you're going to be this stubborn and this hard headed, it's like. At some point you have to make changes. It's either going to be KP or I mean, if you have to part ways with KP at the end of the season, I'd rather see that. Truthfully, I don't think Nick should lose his job. Truthfully, but if you're not going to make change, you're going to get pulled into that office, and what are you going to say? You know what I mean?
Exactly, exactly. Um, yeah, I mean, there's really I don't really have much to add. I think it's very simple. It's simple, but simple doesn't necessarily mean easy because you
Yeah,
have personalities and emotions involved, and to have to look another grown man in the eyes and that be your friend and tell him that like, yo, this isn't working. Like you're not getting it done, and I either got to get rid of you or I got to bring somebody in to hold your hand through this or whatever the case may be. Like you're basically telling that person or confirming that they're a failure at least at this juncture in this endeavor that they're taking on. But the truth is out there. It's not like you telling him is going to make any difference. If anything, I like I said before, what they can do, Frank Reich, Doug Peterson, they're both out there.
yeah,
Jalen Hurts is familiar with them. It's not like they're random people.
yeah.
Just bring one of them back as a consultant and have them up in the booth like you suggested in his ear.
Hmm.
You don't have to undermine him in front of all the fans and media. You can have somebody up in the booth and say this is a consultant and everybody's going to know he's there to help out, but you allow him to, if you want to really be committed to him, allow him to grow with somebody, a sensei next to him guiding him because he's not ready right now. He's Sean McDermott in 2010 or 11 whenever they made him defensive coordinator. He he can be the one. It ain't right now.
Right. 100%.
I think it's more of a feel thing. I don't necessarily. I'm even going to give him an olive branch. I don't necessarily think that he's unfit to be a coordinator. He didn't get into football period by accident, but there's a certain feel that comes with experience that you just can't duplicate, can't replicate.
Yeah, 100%. It's like McFole says, it's like an art, man, and he doesn't have that art.
Yeah, and I don't know what you feel about this, but one argument I hear is if they bring somebody new in, then they have to change the offense. Bullshit. Any offensive coordinator worth their salt, a good one, they don't have to bring in a whole new playbook. They can look at your playbook and say, "Hey, let's see what are you comfortable with running, what's your scheme, and I can give my input as to where I think you're stagnant at, where I feel as though you should be calling this on first down versus third down. You should be calling this on second and long versus third and long. Like these little minor details. You should be calling these things under these situations if the personnel is like this, or if they have certain people like somebody who's had 10 years experience where they've seen enough, like things that they don't teach you in offensive coordinator 101.
Yeah, yeah. Just little small nuances, just a change up here and there and those small little things and details won't matter in the end.
Yeah, because I was looking at some stat. I can't bring it to mind right now. Let's just call the stat uh, in terms. Let's call it offensive efficiency. And out of the last, I think 5 years, including Brian Johnson, he's had the low. This off Eagles offense has had a negative. Um, I think it's estimated points per play or something like that. It was EPA or something like that. They have a negative value for that stat compared to positive values for everybody else. Even if some of those positive values were lower than some of the greater coordinators, even Brian Johnson had a higher efficiency rating for his offense in that year than Kevin Patullo has, and it's not even close. Not even close.
Yeah, agreed.
So in my last video that we made, I put up a screenshot, and it was from I think the 1994 season, and somebody had put this up in the Eagles subreddit, and it was a picture of the Eagles. I think the Eagles might have been in the red zone. I forgot what team it was, but it said the Philadelphia Eagles have not scored a touchdown in some capacity in the past 31 games.
Mhm.
Like, and mind you, that offense that Rich Kotite inherited, that team that he inherited, it was really good. It was on the cusp of making a Super Bowl. Like after failing under Buddy Ryan for so many sequential years, he had a top flight team in his hands, and after going 7-2, They started 7-2. Do you know what their end record was? I think in '94.
What was it?
They started 7-2. They ended the season 7-9.
Wow, that's wild.
Mind you, during that year, even though we lost the game, at least for a majority of that game earlier in the year, or we actually might have beat them. The eventual Super Bowl champions, 49ers in '94, we beat them. We beat them. And then all of a sudden later in the year, it's like we can't after our linebacker got hurt, I forgot name started with a B. After he got hurt, it's like the whole team fell to shit. But a big part of it was because Rich Kotite couldn't coach. And the Jets, unfortunately, were dumb enough to hire him after that, and they got a dose of that too.
Yeah,
But the offensive play calling was so lackadaisical because I think they thought that after Buddy Ryan got fired, let's either bring in or promote Rich Kotite, and he is going to bring some stability on offense
right.
as a coach. Because Buddy Ryan didn't. Like he would just tell Randall to run around for 5 plays and just figure shit out, and we'll just hold their offense to like 10 points. Like that was the game plan. It kind of worked, but it was never going to get you a Super Bowl.
No.
It worked with the Bears in '85. It just did not work with Gang Green, unfortunately. But with Kotite, he had a great defense, and he was supposed to, from my recollection, at least stabilize the offense or give them at least some identity, at least more so than Buddy. And he didn't do that. He just ran us into the
Mhm.
ground, and he just looked shell shocked.
Right.
And then eventually that led to Ray Rose. But it's like you look at Patullo, and I get the same like shell shock type of vibes from him when I look at this
Mhm.
offense. They look so
Right.
inept, even though talent wise they should clearly be better than they are.
Oh, for sure.
And he did some solid things. Like we saw some more motion. But even when you were mentioning Saquon, most of his yards came off of the fake off the tush push. That's because we caught their defense off guard. But
Right.
on the plays where we were running straight up, no.
Yeah, it didn't do much after that. He had a long, I think, like 52-yard run. So at like outside of that, yeah, I mean, we got it going a little bit, but yeah, like you said, the tush push is he caught defense off guard. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we could keep going around in circles about what can change, what should change, but it just seems as though,
Yeah.
uh, as the great man, I'm forgetting names. The former head coach for the Vikings when they had Randy Moss and the coach for the Cardinals, Dennis Green. As a
Mhm.
great Dennis Green would say, they are who we thought they were. He is who we think he is. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. But like, you either got to face the music and make a significant move, or the fans are going to let you know whether that's
Yeah.
money or whether that's walking out the stadium. And yeah.
Yeah. They get a 3-and-out Sunday, you damn. That crowd's not going to be up at all.
And to the last point I want to say is we're just guys. We're just fans, but I feel as though we're speaking what a lot of people are saying. Nick can say what he wants to, but at the end of the day, the worst thing you can elicit out of your fan base is indifference, and you're really starting to push the Eagles fan base to that. And then at a certain
Mhm.
point, they're not going to care what changes you make. They're going to say, just get him going. And we don't care. He has to go. You don't want to get the fans to that point where they check out on the coach.
Yeah, 100%.
Because if I'm telling you, if I'm bringing up the name every other week, and I heard somebody else bring up the name on, it might have been with Acho and Shady. Don't quote me on that, but if they start bringing up the Rich Kotites of the world and coaches who were really uh, dumpster water and
Hmm.
start associating your name with the likes of those, you ain't gonna be around long, dog. Because
Nope.
people get that narrative in their mind, just they're not gonna let it go. They're gonna be calling
No.
to that station, and if you keep failing every week for the same reason, they're gonna like, yo, he gotta go. Just like
Yeah.
Andy at the end. Oh, we gotta do, and I'm not trying to rag on Andy. We gotta do better. I gotta do better. I gotta do a better job. I gotta do a better job. I gotta do a better job. Okay, and each
Well,
week,
do it.
thing, yeah, yeah, and then you put Juan Castillo, God bless his heart. phenomenal offensive line coach was not supposed to be D coordinator.
Yeah.
And then you say every week, oh, I got to do a better job. You know that your friend is not qualified, and instead of just cutting the cord early, you let that dude suffer and inevitably had to get him replaced, I think, by McDermott, maybe. I think that's what happened. Either way,
Mhm.
the inevitable happened anyway, so why are you torturing yourself
Yeah.
by continuing to do the same thing?
Right. Yeah, I
So,
don't know.
anything you want to add on to that? And before we leave, give your thoughts on what you think is going to happen for the Raiders game coming up.
Um, I mean, honestly, this is probably a silly question, but I'm gonna ask anyway.
Okay.
Do you do you feel like Jalen Hurts um let's say this. Do you feel like Jalen Hurts is is gonna be a problem moving forward?
In what sense?
Like his play on the field and the way he's going about things.
I think my hunch is that if the play calling does not improve, I see him regressing.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
If it improves, then we can find out if it's how much of it is Jalen Hurts or not. But if it doesn't improve, if you put Tanner McKee in there, will he have a good game or two? Sure, I think he can hit some of the lower pass, some of the shorter passes. He'll take some of the dump off routes while stretching the field. But at a certain point, once teams figure out that if the offense has not changed drastically, they're just going to start keying in on the same things and start baiting him into bad throws. It's 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 a quick fix that won't last long unless you make a fundamental change at the play calling position.
Yeah.
But
Fair point.
what is true is I think that Jalen Hurts, yeah, I see him regressing. Hopefully he shows me something different, but I see him regressing because it's what can you do with with the cards you're dealt right now? Um,
Yeah.
and to be fair, if he does have some deficiencies like throwing over the middle, those things will only be amplified by piss poor play calling.
Yeah. And if you gotta at least attempt it, because we've seen him throw down the middle before, like with good, like Kellen Moore,
We just
like
saw
there
it.
was,
We just saw
yeah,
it this past game where he hit AJ Brown on like a 15-yard in route, and he hit him
yeah,
in stride before he was open. He threw into the window anticipated. He did all the things that we criticized him about. Boom, right there.
right, yeah,
Now can you do that consistently? That part I can't. Maybe he can't do that consistently. I don't know, but I would think that from what I saw before, he can do it consistently enough that you can call it more than you're calling it. You just like
yeah,
completely straying away from it.
right. Yeah. That's pretty much it on my end.
So
I don't know. I'm kind of at the point. It's like, is Jalen Hurts the problem? Like, is he a product of a system with just good players around him, or is he that guy?
I think he's part of the problem, but like I said before, I still don't think he makes up the majority of the problem. I think the majority of the problem is the coordinator, and part of the
Yeah,
problem is Jalen Hurts as well as the line. Jalen Hurts because of the limitations in the play calling, which may exacerbate some of one or more of his deficiencies in a way that wouldn't be noticeable otherwise. And then the
yeah,
line is struggling because a little bit of poor play, including Milata, but mostly because they're just dinged up.
yeah.
And there's no what the word would be continuity.
Hmm.
I think
Yeah,
even with the Chargers, they said they can't even get through like two or three games with the same group in their starting five
right.
offensive line. And I think that we're not really a whole lot different this year.
No, not much.
Yeah. So I think that we beat the Raiders. I mean, I'm looking at some stats right here. I just think that outside of Stokes, Eric Stokes, we don't really have anybody like Darian Porter. Like he's going to get cooked by AJ or Smitty. Like it's what only things we really have is Crosby and Snowden as pass rushers on the ends and Chin at strong safety. So like one side of the field I think we're pretty solid on, but that other side of the field, especially the free safety, dog water. So if we cannot get some consistent offense against my Raiders, then we have you know the deal. All was saying was that the Raiders, if we can't beat the Raiders with the defensive line we have, then we have
Yeah.
it's gonna be a very interesting press conference next week. But let us know what you guys think.
Yeah.
Do you think the Eagles are going to beat the Raiders like we both think? And if not, what do you think is coming next week? Let us know in the comments below. We'll catch you on the next one. Deuces.